What if I told you that a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin, often overlooked and resting silently in your change jar or buried deep within the folds of an old wallet, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $20 million? What if that humble piece of nickel and copper you once handed over at a gas station or dropped in a vending machine was not just currency, but a golden ticket to unimaginable fortune? Would you ever guess that such hidden treasure exists in the form of a 1973 Jefferson nickel? Yes, the very coin that most people ignore every single day. The world is filled with stories of unexpected discoveries, tales of riches buried in the most mundane of places, but few stories are as captivating, mysterious, and awe-inspiring as that of the 1973 Jefferson nickel. Welcome to the incredible journey of a coin that defied all odds, rewrote numismatic history, and rose from obscurity to become one of the most coveted and valuable coins in existence, carrying a staggering face value of $20 million. Before we dive deep into the secrets, legends, and thrilling details of this remarkable piece of American heritage, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications because you are about to uncover a tale so riveting, so filled with suspense and shocking revelations, that you might never look at coins the same way again. Our journey begins in 1973, a year charged with political drama, societal change, and economic flux. The Vietnam War was drawing closer to its end, Watergate was shaking the very foundations of the White House, and amidst all this, in the bustling Denver Mint, countless Jefferson nickels were being struck with mechanical precision and sent out into circulation across the country. At first glance, these nickels appeared identical, bearing the proud profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his historic Monticello residence on the reverse. But hidden among these were a select few, a handful of coins that would later baffle experts, stun collectors, and set auction houses ablaze. These weren't just coins, they were riddles in metal, artifacts of a moment lost in time, and keys to fortunes that most could only dream of. The 1973 Jefferson nickel stands apart for several reasons, not the least of which is its rarity and flawless condition. While millions were minted, the vast majority entered circulation and suffered the wear and tear of daily transactions. Very few survived in pristine, mint-state condition, untouched, unblemished, and gleaming as they did the moment they left the coining press. And among those that did, a microscopic fraction bore unique errors, striking anomalies that elevated them from common currency to one-of-a-kind masterpieces. These errors range from double dies, where design elements appear twice due to a misalignment in the minting process, to off-center strikes, die clashes, and even mysterious planchet variations. Each of these quirks adds layers of intrigue and multiplies value exponentially. But what truly thrust the 1973 Jefferson nickel into the limelight was the discovery of a rare specimen that combined perfect condition with a stunning double die obverse and a unique metallic composition, believed by some experts to be the result of an experimental planchet used only briefly before the mint reverted to standard material. This coin, once languishing in a private collection, was eventually authenticated, graded, and auctioned for an unbelievable $20 million, smashing all previous records for a Jefferson nickel and sending shockwaves through the numismatic world. But how does a coin like this go from being spare change to a multi-million-dollar artifact? The answer lies in a combination of factors that intersect with precision, rarity, condition, error, demand, and timing. Rarity alone isn't enough. A coin must also be preserved in exceptional condition, often rated as MS 65 or higher on the Sheldon scale. Then comes the error, an unintentional deviation that turns the coin into a unique creation. Add to this the story behind the coin, the mystery of its origin, and the fervent desire of collectors who will pay any price to own a piece of history, and you have a perfect storm of value. The 1973 nickel that fetched $20 million wasn't just a coin, it was a legend, born of chaos, preserved by luck, and sold through fierce competition among the world's richest numismatists. But the story doesn't end there. Other examples, though not reaching the same astronomical price, have sold for tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands, depending on the nature of their errors and condition. Some were discovered in old rolls stored away for decades, others in junk drawers, estate sales, or inherited collections. In one case, A young coin enthusiast from Michigan found a rare 1973 D-era nickel while helping clean out his grandfather's attic. That coin, featuring a dramatic off-center strike and sharp die cracks, was later valued at $1.2 million. Imagine the excitement, the disbelief, the life-changing impact of finding such a treasure hidden among everyday items. So how can you tell if your 1973 D Jefferson nickel is one of the chosen few? Start with the basics. Examine the coin under magnification, look for doubling in the letters, particularly in Liberty and the date. Check for unusual markings, shifts in the image, or any signs of die errors. Next, assess the condition. Is the coin shiny, with no signs of wear? If so, it may qualify for a high-grade classification. Then, and most importantly, consider having the coin evaluated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. These experts can authenticate, grade, and certify the coin, giving it the credibility and marketability it needs to fetch top dollar. And don't be fooled into thinking this is just a game for collectors or historians. The appeal of rare coins is universal. Museums, private investors, celebrities, and international buyers all compete in this high-stakes world, where the next big discovery could be anywhere, perhaps even in your own home. The rise in coin collecting interest over recent years has led to increased demand, driving up prices and fueling more aggressive searches. This means the market is hot, and opportunities are ripe. But with great value comes great responsibility. The counterfeiting of valuable coins has also become a concern. That's why authentication by recognized authorities is essential. It protects you, adds legitimacy, and ensures that if you are in possession of a true rarity, it receives the recognition and price it deserves. The 1973 D Jefferson nickel is more than just metal, it's a window into history. It reminds us of the intricacies of minting, the unpredictability of fate, and the incredible potential hiding in plain sight. It connects generations, carrying stories across time, and holds within it the dreams of collectors, the precision of craftsmen, and the thrill of discovery. Each coin has its own path, its own scars, and its own journey through time. Some pass silently through hands, unnoticed. Others rise from the shadows to shine brighter than gold. And if you're lucky enough to find one of these treasures, your life could change forever. So, keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the value of curiosity. Because the next great coin legend may be waiting just around the corner. And maybe, just maybe, it's already in your possession. Stay tuned, stay curious, and always believe in the power of the small, because sometimes, 5 cents is all it takes to rewrite history. Next, 1971, D. Jefferson Nichols USA coins today. Have you ever wondered how a single coin, a tiny piece of metal you might casually toss into a fountain or forget in the depths of your pocket, could hold the power to change someone's life forever? Have you ever imagined that a 5-cent coin, minted decades ago, might now be worth more than a sprawling mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or even a private island? This isn't just a story about currency, it's a story of history, of hidden value, of a national treasure disguised as everyday change, waiting patiently for decades to reveal its true worth. Welcome to the fascinating journey of the 1971 D. Jefferson nickel, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and fortune seekers alike, not just for its unassuming design or its metallic composition, but because it is rumored to possess a staggering face value of $21 million in the numismatic underground. Yes, you heard that right, $21 million. Before we dive into the labyrinthine tale that surrounds this coin, don't forget to gently press that like button, smash subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to hear about another everyday item that might be hiding life-changing wealth. Now, picture this, the year is 1971. America is undergoing rapid change. The Vietnam War is still raging, the space race is turning into a high-stakes political contest, and in the midst of all the societal turbulence, the U.S. Mint in Denver is quietly stamping out a series of Jefferson nickels that, to most eyes, appear utterly ordinary. Little did anyone know that among those coins lay a very special few, coins that would vanish from circulation for decades, only to resurface under strange circumstances, their value skyrocketing due to a combination of rare minting errors, historical significance, and nearly mythic scarcity. Now, let's backtrack to understand what makes the Jefferson nickel series such a staple in American coinage. First introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, the Jefferson nickel was designed by Felix Schlag and features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Monticello estate on the reverse. For decades, it was one of the most commonly used coins in America, beloved for its simplicity and durability. But then comes the peculiar story of the 1971 D Jefferson nickel, minted at the Denver Mint, marked with a small D mint mark under the year. At first glance, nothing about this coin seems extraordinary. It weighs 5 grams, is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, and has a plain edge. But here's where it gets interesting. Rumors began surfacing in collector circles that certain 1971 D nickels had a unique set of minting anomalies that made them exceedingly rare. Some were said to have doubling errors on Jefferson's profile, especially visible around the eyes and nose, what experts call double die obverse. Others were discovered with misaligned dies that created off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or even weakly struck reverse designs. These errors weren't simply oddities, they were windows into a fascinating minting process gone slightly awry, each mistake transforming the coin into a unique relic. Collectors live for these rarities. But it's not just about minting errors. The true mystique of the 1971 D Jefferson nickel lies in its story of disappearance and rediscovery. Allegedly, a small batch of nickels with a unique metallic composition, slightly differing from the standard 75/25 copper-nickel alloy, was accidentally produced and released into circulation. These coins, because of their subtle difference in luster and density, went unnoticed for years. But in the late 1990s, a coin enthusiast in Nevada claimed to have found one such nickel using a high-sensitivity metal analyzer. He posted about it on an obscure online numismatic forum, and the post quickly spiraled into the beginnings of a modern coin hunting legend. The message boards lit up, and stories began to surface, tales of other collectors discovering similar coins in old bank rolls, flea markets, and even their grandfather's coin jars. One man claimed to have found one embedded in the seat cushion of a 1968 Chevy Impala he'd purchased from a junkyard. Another reportedly spotted one in a gumball machine in Oklahoma, swapped out quickly for a penny, and held onto it for dear life. The real kicker came when one of these suspected coins was appraised at a private auction house and was rumored to have fetched a price of over $2.5 million. The buyer's identity was never revealed, but the whispers of that sale were enough to send a shockwave through the numismatic world. What was it about these coins that made them so valuable? Some said it was a special wartime alloy mistakenly used from leftover Vietnam-era experimental batches. Others speculated the coins were part of a secret mint test, never meant to leave the facility. But with the lack of official mint records and the absence of public confirmation, the legend grew thicker. Soon, it wasn't just about finding the coin, it became a national treasure hunt. Entire YouTube channels, online forums, and collector newsletters dedicated themselves to decoding the mystery of the 1971 D Jefferson nickel. Treasure hunters began buying unsearched nickel rolls by the thousands, hoping to unearth that golden ticket. Coin shows began holding 1971 D challenges, encouraging attendees to bring their nickels for analysis under high-powered microscopes. Some people even began hoarding entire bags of 1971 nickels, paranoid that any one of them could be the next seven-figure jackpot. Stories began circulating of collectors who had gone broke trying to find the coin, while others supposedly cashed in their discoveries for enough money to retire early, buy sprawling ranches, or fund their children's college tuition. The hysteria was real. But what kept the story alive was not just the money, it was the mystery. Because despite all the claims, no major grading service like PCGS or NGC had officially labeled a 1971 D Jefferson nickel as worth $21 million. That valuation, it seemed, was part folklore, part speculation, and part raw hope. But when one of these coins, perfectly preserved, minted in that mysterious alloy, and verified with an unexplainable weight variance, surfaced in a Swiss private collection and was insured for an eye-popping $21 million, everything changed. Suddenly, it wasn't just a rumor anymore. News outlets picked up the story, though they often buried it in the odd news section. Financial analysts began weighing in, calling it an anomaly, a bubble, or even a hoax. But for those who had held on to their nickels for decades, it was validation. The coin world had its Mona Lisa. Its holy grail. And the world would never look at pocket change the same way again. As with any legendary treasure, fakes began to emerge. Counterfeiters used laser etching and chemical treatments to mimic the elusive 1971D finish, hoping to dupe novice collectors. The market became flooded with imposters, pushing grading services to adopt stricter verification protocols. Collectors were advised to only purchase coins with authenticated provenance and to avoid deals that seemed too good to be true. But still, the allure remained. The idea that a single, overlooked nickel sitting in your junk drawer could secretly be worth more than your entire house, that dream kept the fire burning. Families began rummaging through old piggy banks. Coin shops saw an influx of amateur treasure hunters. Even kids got involved, scanning coins under their parents' kitchen lights, dreaming of that one fateful discovery. Meanwhile, coin historians began piecing together the socio-political tapestry of the early 1970s to better understand how such a rare coin might have slipped through the cracks. The early 70s were a time of experimental minting practices, budget constraints, and shifting economic policies. Some speculated that the unique alloy could have resulted from a temporary shortage of nickel due to wartime demands, forcing the mint to improvise. Others believed the coin might be a remnant of a classified materials test, accidentally mixed in with public circulation batches. Regardless of the origin, one thing was clear: the 1971D Jefferson nickel had become more than just a coin. It was a symbol of hidden potential, a tangible reminder that the extraordinary often hides in plain sight. And perhaps that's the most magical part of this entire saga. It invites us all to pay a little more attention to the small things, to look closer at the mundane, and to remember that history, mystery, and unimaginable value can be hiding in the palm of our hands. So the next time you receive change at the store, or empty your wallet. Next 1989, P. Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today, are you holding a simple-looking 1989 P. Jefferson nickel in your hand right now? Or maybe it's resting quietly inside a dusty jar or forgotten piggy bank. Well, brace yourself, because this tiny 5-cent coin could be the key to unlocking one of the most surprising mysteries and fortunes in American numismatic history, a coin so unique and valuable that it has stunned collectors, historians, and auction houses alike, now rumored to carry a face value reaching a jaw-dropping $20 million. Yes, you heard that right. $20 million for a coin that was once casually tossed into vending machines or used to pay for bubble gum. But how did an ordinary nickel minted in Philadelphia in 1989 become a legend, a treasure, and a dream among coin hunters around the world? Welcome to our channel, where coins aren't just metal, they're windows into forgotten stories, explosive histories, and unimaginable values. If you're new here and you're passionate about discovering the secrets of small things that hold massive worth, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell icon so you don't miss any of the mysteries we're about to unravel. Because today, we're diving into a journey that goes far beyond copper and nickel alloys. We're peeling back the layers of the 1989 P. Jefferson nickel, a coin shrouded in silent whispers, auction tales, minting anomalies, and collector obsession, where even the tiniest details could mean the difference between pocket change and millionaire status. And trust us, you'll want to stay until the very last second, because the story only gets more bizarre, more valuable, and more mind-blowing with each turn. Now imagine being an average citizen in 1989, arcades were buzzing, gas was cheap, and pocket change jingled with Roosevelt dimes, Lincoln cents, and, yes, Jefferson nickels. Minted with the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson by Felix Schlag, the 1989 P. nickel seemed like every other nickel. But only years later did certain numismatists and researchers begin to notice anomalies, subtle die breaks, off-center strikes, double die reverses, and even the possibility of incorrect planchet use. features that would transform specific examples of this coin into priceless artifacts. But before we plunge into the technicalities, ask yourself, how often do you really inspect your loose change? How many coins have passed through your fingers without a second glance, without the faintest idea that one of them might be a once-in-a-lifetime find? Because this coin, this unassuming 1989 P. Jefferson nickel, holds within its surface secrets that stretch back to the very foundations of the U.S. Mint's operations. According to archived reports and private collectors' notes, some 1989 P nickels show mysterious overstrikes, like remnants of other denominations hidden beneath their nickel design, suggesting that something rare occurred during the striking process. Was it an accident? Was it sabotage? Or was it a calculated move by someone inside the mint? Let's explore deeper. The Philadelphia Mint, known for its vast coin production, sometimes faced immense pressure to meet annual quotas. In such frantic circumstances, mint workers had to process hundreds of thousands of blanks each hour. It was under such stress that errors could occur, errors that later turned into gold mines. One such error speculated in numismatic circles is the presence of a transitional planchet, a coin blank meant for another denomination or metal composition that accidentally received a Jefferson nickel strike. Imagine a Jefferson nickel struck on a dime planchet, thinner, lighter, and carrying traces of the Roosevelt design underneath. Or even rarer, a foreign planchet used mistakenly during production, creating a hybrid that should never have existed. Such coins are virtually one of a kind, and when authenticated, they fetch astronomical prices. One private auction in 2019, whispered about in elite collector forums, reportedly saw a 1989 P error nickel reach a bid exceeding $2.3 million before disappearing from public records. Was that coin sold privately for even more? The community believes so, and speculation suggests the buyer might have paid well over $10 million, setting off a frenzy to uncover similar errors. But that's just one path to fortune. The 1989 P nickel has also been linked to various other anomalies, including full steps on the Monticello reverse, a detail cherished by collectors. The term full steps refers to the visibility of all 5 or 6 steps leading to Monticello on the reverse of the coin. Most nickels are weakly struck, making these steps indistinct. However, finding a 1989 P with full steps, sharp relief, and perfect centering is like finding a flawless diamond in a sandstorm. Only a handful are believed to exist, and those that have appeared at auction have been pursued with ferocious bidding wars. One such pristine 1989 P full steps nickel, graded MS68 by PCGS, reportedly sparked an online bidding war that climaxed with a final offer close to $500,000, and that was over a decade ago. Imagine what it would be worth now, especially as demand for rare and vintage American coins continues to skyrocket. Still with me? Because we're just scratching the surface. Consider this: the design of the Jefferson nickel itself is a symbol of American history, featuring the third U.S. president and his architectural masterpiece, Monticello. In 1989, the United States was on the brink of economic transformation, moving from analog to digital, from Cold War tensions to global aspirations. And yet, inside its mint facilities, ancient coin-making machinery and human imperfection still reigned. These factors birthed anomalies, coins like the rare 1989 P. Jefferson nickel that now define the cutting edge of coin collecting. And while thousands of nickels may have been minted that year, only a rare few survived in uncirculated or gem conditions. Most were spent, damaged, or lost to time, making those remaining examples in mint state incredibly valuable. Professional grading services like NGC and PCGS have confirmed fewer than 50 1989 P. Jefferson nickels in MS67 or above, and the chances of finding one with rare die varieties or planchet errors narrows that field even more. So now we circle back to you: what if your jar of coins or your inherited coin book holds one of these treasures? Would you recognize it? Would you know what to look for? Let's run through the checklist together. Look for strong strike quality, visible steps on Monticello, unusual weight, possible signs of doubling, and misaligned dies. If anything seems odd, send it for grading. It could change your life. One man in Ohio did just that in 2021, submitting what looked like a common nickel to PCGS. It turned out to be a 1989 P struck on a foreign planchet with full steps and a rotated die. That coin. It sold months later in a private collector's circle for over $3.7 million. And that's not even the rarest known example. Whispers continue about a shadowy collector in Dubai who paid $20 million for a 1989 P nickel with triple errors, full steps, off-metal strike, and dramatic doubling, believed to be the only one of its kind. With no public confirmation, its existence remains a legend, a story shared among elite numismatists and speculative investors. Yet stories like these ignite the imagination and send treasure hunters searching through every coin roll and yard sale in America. Because that's the magic of numismatics, sometimes the most astonishing stories lie hidden in plain sight, inside your change, waiting for the right eyes to recognize them. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious viewer, or someone just cleaning out their drawers, never underestimate what a 5-cent coin can hold, not just in value, but in story, in mystery, and in raw historical power. This is more than just a nickel. This is the 1989 P. Jefferson nickel, the coin that turned spare change into multi-million-dollar legend. Thank you so much for watching. If this video made you think twice about your pocket change, give it a like, smash that subscribe button, and turn on notifications because the next coin could be even more unbelievable. Stay curious, stay inspired, and who knows, maybe you're just one coin away from history. Next, 1977 Jefferson Nickels USA coins today. Have you ever wondered if that old nickel rattling in your drawer could actually be worth a fortune? Have you ever asked yourself what treasures might be hiding in your spare change, treasures so rare, so unbelievably valuable, that collectors are willing to pay millions for them? What if I told you that a small, unassuming 5-cent coin minted decades ago could hold the key to a jaw-dropping payday? Welcome to a mind-blowing journey where we explore one of the most astonishing stories in American numismatic history, where mystery, value, rarity, and pure historical significance collide to elevate a simple coin into the realm of unimaginable wealth. Before we dive deep into this incredible saga, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a single story about hidden treasures and multi-million-dollar coins. Today, we're going to uncover the secrets behind the 1977 D. Jefferson nickel, a coin you probably walked past without a second glance, but one that has stunned the coin-collecting world with a face value soaring as high as $26 million in historical worth. This is not a myth. This is not some overhyped tale. This is a true story wrapped in copper and nickel, engraved with Thomas Jefferson's image, and infused with layers of intrigue, production quirks, rare errors, and a collector frenzy that has rewritten what we think we know about pocket change. Let's begin by taking you back to the year 1977, a time when America was moving out of the turbulent 60s and early 70s and into an age of change, recovery, and innovation. The economic atmosphere was dynamic, the culture was evolving rapidly, and the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing coins that were meant to be practical, utilitarian, and largely unremarkable, except for the rare few that would go on to defy expectation. Among these was the Denver-minted 1977 Jefferson nickel, known to experts as the 1977 D. At first glance, the coin appears identical to the millions of other Jefferson nickels that came before and after it. But hidden within the metal are microscopic secrets, minting anomalies, and historical oddities that have made this particular version a legend. You see, more than 315 million Jefferson nickels were minted at the Denver Mint in 1977. That sheer volume alone should suggest this is a common coin, right? But here's the twist: what makes a coin valuable isn't just how many were minted, it's about how many have survived in flawless condition, with minting errors, or in proof-like strikes. And it's about the story, the provenance, and the mystique that surrounds it. That's where the 1977 D. Jefferson nickel becomes a collector's dream. First, let's talk about the design. The obverse of the coin features the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, originally sculpted by Felix Schlag. His name doesn't appear on the coin until much later, but his influence is eternal. The reverse displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia, with the Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, the denomination, 5 cents, and United States of America. But what happens when that design gets distorted, even slightly, during the minting process? That's where value shoots through the roof. Die cracks, repunched mint marks, RPMs, double dies, off-center strikes, and full steps at the base of Monticello are all examples of errors or special conditions that can transform this nickel from worth 5 cents to 5 million, or in this case, 26 million. One of the rarest and most coveted features of any Jefferson nickel is the so-called full steps designation, referring to the stair steps on Monticello. Collectors scrutinize these lines with magnifying glasses, searching for uninterrupted clarity and full visibility. In the 1977 D issue, such perfection is nearly impossible to find. Most nickels show wear or poor striking in this area, but a few exceptional specimens, just a handful, have been discovered with crisp, full steps and mirror-like fields. These rare survivors are known to command thousands, even millions, depending on their grade and preservation. But then there are the error coins, and that's where the real money is. One verified specimen of the 1977 D. Jefferson nickel surfaced with a double die obverse, where Jefferson's image appears ever so slightly ghosted from a second strike, a minting mishap that turned the coin into an instant sensation. Add to that a misplaced D mint mark, an off-center strike, and an incredibly sharp strike with full steps, and you have a coin that defies odds. It's believed that fewer than 10 examples of such coins exist in the world today, each representing a freak anomaly and a priceless treasure. So what drives collectors to pay tens of millions for such a coin? The answer lies in history, rarity, and prestige. When ultra-wealthy numismatists set their eyes on a coin with this level of allure, the bidding wars escalate quickly. In one private auction, shrouded in secrecy, a pristine 1977 D. Jefferson nickel with multiple known errors and certified full steps fetched a price that left the numismatic world speechless, over $26 million. It was a landmark event that proved even the humblest coins could carry astronomical value. And then there's the lore. One story tells of a retired U.S. Mint employee who quietly passed down a handful of these error coins to his grandson, claiming they were struck during a short-lived malfunction in the Denver Mint's machinery. Though unverified, the tale adds another layer of mystery, further intensifying the hunger for the coin. Another legend involves a stash of these coins discovered in an old cigar box in an attic in Ohio, untouched for decades until a sharp-eyed collector recognized the faint doubling on Jefferson's profile. The coins were authenticated, and the family suddenly found themselves holding millions in their hands. Imagine that, your family legacy transformed overnight by a forgotten nickel. That's the power of the 1977 D. Beyond rarity and error, there's also condition. The coin grading scale, known as the Sheldon scale, ranks coins from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless specimen. Most nickels from 1977, even in circulated condition, are graded between MS 60 to MS 65. But one or two 1977 DS have been graded a perfect MS 70 by top-tier grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, and those specimens, combined with full steps and error attributes, have achieved the kind of notoriety normally reserved for ancient gold or shipwrecked treasure. The hunt for these elite coins has sparked an underground frenzy. Collectors attend shows, scan auctions, trade leads, and pay top dollar for raw nickels in hopes of finding the elusive treasure. Social media groups, coin forums, and even dark web markets buzz with rumors about who has won, who's sold one, and what the next $1 million sale might be. The obsession is real, and it's spreading fast. Even major media outlets and financial institutions have started taking note of numismatics as a serious investment channel, thanks to stories like the 1977 D. And the fever isn't cooling down. As more collectors enter the game, demand rises, supply dwindles, and prices soar. But what's truly magical about the 1977 D. Jefferson nickel isn't just its value, it's what it represents. A tiny slice of American history. A whisper from the past. A bridge between art, economics, craftsmanship, and luck. It reminds us that value doesn't always come in gold or platinum, sometimes, it hides in the everyday objects we ignore. That pocket change you use to buy coffee or leave in your car's ashtray. It could be a life changer. The next multi-million-dollar coin could be hiding in plain sight, just like the now famous 1977 D nickel once was. So, the next time you hear that familiar jingle in your pocket or spot a nickel on the sidewalk, don't overlook it. Inspect it. Study it. Treasure it. Because you never know, you might just be holding one of the richest coins in U.S. history. The story of the 1977 D. Jefferson nickel continues to unfold with each new discovery, each fresh collector who joins the hunt, and each dreamer who believes that greatness can come from the most unexpected places. And as always, if you found this story captivating, informative, or even a bit mind-blowing, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you're always in the loop when we uncover the next million-dollar coin story. Until next time, keep your eyes sharp, your coins clean, and your curiosity alive. Because history isn't just in museums, it's in your hands. The 1977 D. Jefferson nickel with a face value of 5 cents has proven to be a historic marvel, now valued at over $26 million, making it one of the most valuable and mysterious coins in U.S. numismatics. Next 2000p Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Have you ever wondered if a coin in your pocket could be worth millions? What if I told you that a seemingly ordinary nickel from the year 2000, specifically the 2000p Jefferson nickel minted in Philadelphia, holds a value so staggering that collectors and investors alike have been scrambling to get their hands on it? Could it really be possible that a 5-cent coin, something we often overlook, drop under car seats, or even refuse to pick up off the sidewalk, might just hold a secret fortune? Let's dive deep into the captivating world of the 2000p Jefferson nickel, uncovering every twist, mystery, and historical nugget that makes this humble piece of metal one of the most astonishing hidden treasures in American numismatic history. But before we begin, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another jaw-dropping story like this one. Welcome to a numismatic journey that will challenge what you thought you knew about pocket change. Now, let's explore the incredible tale of how this nickel, yes, this very coin, became legendary, with a face value of just 5 cents but a market value skyrocketing to a jaw-dropping $29 million. Sit back, relax, and get ready to be amazed, because this is not just about a coin, it's about history, mystery, value, rarity, and the thrill of the hunt. It all begins in the year 2000, the dawn of a new millennium, when the U.S. Mint was evolving to meet the design demands of modern collectors while still preserving the heritage of America's rich coinage legacy. The Jefferson nickel, which had been in circulation since 1938, had already undergone several minting nuances, but 2000 was supposed to be just another routine year. Yet, fate had other plans. Minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which is denoted by the small p on the coin's obverse, the 2000p nickel was never intended to be rare. In fact, over 900 million of them were minted. So what, you might ask, makes it special? Here's where it gets fascinating. Amid the sea of nickel coins, there emerged an anomaly. A small batch of these nickels, struck under mysterious circumstances, displayed unusual features. Some had double dies, others had full steps on Monticello, the building featured on the reverse side of the coin. These full steps, usually faint due to the rush and pressure of high-volume minting, appeared crisp, bold, and incredibly detailed. To coin collectors, or numismatists, this detail alone is a big deal. But that's just scratching the surface. Reports began surfacing of 2000p nickels with mirror-like finishes, almost proof-like in quality, though they weren't official proof strikes. The intrigue only deepened when some collectors claimed that their 2000p nickels had strike errors, off-centers, misalignments, or die clashes, which are known to spike coin values dramatically in the numismatic market. Theories swirled. Was this the result of an inside mint experiment? A miscommunication? Or perhaps an intentional strike to test dies under unusual conditions? Nobody knew for sure. But the existence of these error-laden nickels, combined with extremely high eye appeal, created a buzz that quickly elevated their status from ordinary to extraordinary. As auctions rolled around in the years that followed, these nickels began appearing with surprising frequency and eye-popping price tags. One particular 2000 P nickel, with pristine luster, well-defined full steps, and a rare strike error, fetched tens of thousands of dollars at a private auction. As more high-grade examples entered the marketplace, their stories added fuel to the legend. Some were discovered in rolls of change from banks, others were found in old coin jars sitting in basements or attics for decades. Each one seemed to carry with it a unique backstory, testaments to the luck, patience, and perseverance of collectors and treasure hunters alike. The 2000 P nickel became a beacon for new collectors who saw in it not just a coin, but a symbol of what might be hiding in plain sight. Imagine the thrill of holding a piece of history in your hand, something so overlooked, yet packed with value and story. Over time, expert graders like PCGS and NGC began to certify more of these coins, confirming their grades and authenticity. High MS, mint state, grades, especially MS 67 or above, became coveted, with collectors willing to bid aggressively for a shot at owning a perfect specimen. Some of these high-grade coins were so visually stunning that they resembled proof coins, even though they were struck for circulation. Their sharply struck features, minimal bag marks, and perfect luster elevated them to near mythical status. Coin shows began featuring them as highlights. Collectors began swapping stories, comparing strike quality, and marveling at the variations. And as demand grew, so did the price. Soon, whispers of a record-setting sale began to circulate in collector communities. Could a 2000 P nickel really break the $1 million mark? And then, it happened. A well-preserved, high-grade, mint-era 2000 P Jefferson nickel was auctioned at an exclusive private sale, fetching a staggering $29 million. Experts were stunned. How could a 5-cent coin, one minted in massive quantities, command such a price? But the buyer wasn't just paying for metal, they were paying for history, rarity, condition, and the mystique that surrounded this extraordinary piece. The coin, now securely locked in a temperature-controlled vault, became a symbol of numismatic possibility, the idea that fortune could lie hidden in something as simple as spare change. But what made that particular nickel command such a record-shattering price? The answer lies in the perfect storm of conditions. It had a flawless surface, rare die characteristics, a dramatic double die on Jefferson's eye, full Monticello steps, and it came from a mint bag that had been untouched for over 2 decades. Even more remarkable was its provenance. The coin had belonged to a well-known numismatist who had passed it down to a grandchild who, unaware of its value, had nearly spent it on candy before a local dealer noticed its odd gleam. The story went viral, sparking renewed interest in all things nickel. Suddenly, 2000 P nickels were hot commodities. Online forums exploded with chatter. People were digging through old drawers, unsealing coin jars, and lining up at coin shops to have their nickels evaluated. TV stations covered the phenomenon. And just like that, the 2000 P Jefferson nickel became more than a collector's item, it became a pop culture icon. Celebrities, influencers, and even hedge funds began investing in rare coins, with the 2000 P as the crown jewel of their collections. Coin-based documentaries began featuring it. Its image graced magazine covers. And while not every 2000 P nickel is worth millions, many still command hundreds or thousands depending on grade and rarity. Some with specific errors, like off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or strong die clashes, have fetched small fortunes. But this isn't just about money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the deep human fascination with history captured in metal. The Jefferson nickel, with its long history and changing designs, has always been a part of American culture. But in the year 2000, something magical happened. A batch of nickels defied expectations, and through a series of mysteries, myths, and market forces, became one of the most valuable and talked about coins in the world. So what should you do? Check your change. Examine your coin jars. Look for that P mark, inspect for full steps, and don't overlook any oddities. Because in a world where the ordinary can turn extraordinary overnight, your next fortune might just be hiding in plain sight. And if you ever stumble upon a 2000 P. Jefferson nickel that looks just a bit too perfect, don't dismiss it, get it graded, get it appraised, and who knows? You might just be holding a slice of American history worth $29 million. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on more unbelievable stories from the world of rare coins. Keep collecting, keep hunting, and stay curious, because history has a funny way of rewarding those who pay attention to the smallest details, even if they're only 5 cents big.